Hello, YouTube folks. How are you all? How are we all doing? All right, let me get Instagram here. Go live. There we go. All right, Instagram's done. StreamYard is good. Substack. Oop, turn off my sound so I'm not echoing on myself. All right. Oh, there's Substack. Substack's lives too. Excellent. Oh, 2 people on Substack already. Deanna and Neva. Hello, gals. Good to see you. Terry. Excellent. All right. Good. This is all working. Yay. All right. Let me get my TikTok going and we're good. And my dog, once again. So I had the vet appointment yesterday. Everything's great. And she said, no, I think you can try the medicine again that we thought was messing with her. It should be fine. Gave it to her yesterday. During the show, I thought something was off, but I didn't tell you guys. But she was being a little weird, even weirder tonight after I gave her the medicine. So she ain't getting that medicine again, unfortunately, which is a bummer because it does help her out. But I know how you, I know. All right? I know. She's been a bit whiny too. Hopefully a little less, it's been 3 hours now, so I'm hoping a little less crazy, but has definitely been like a little goofy today. Unfortunately. All right, Iran war update. I have no word to put. All right, live goal. I hear you, dog, but you can't have me pet you the entire time. Now she's just feeling needy. She's like, pet me. All right, what did I do with my glasses? See, this is what happens when... What did I do with my glasses? How did I put my glasses down? Did I put them down inside? I'm losing my mind. Here, these are some older, I don't like these glasses, but I may use them anyway. Yeah, I don't like these glasses, but I will use them. I don't know what the hell I did with my glasses. See, these are like boring reading glasses, but at least I can put them on to use them here. 1 second here. Oh, that is kind of fun. We'll pick that one. That's kind of fun. Why not? All right, I hear you, dog. There's not a lot of love I can give you at the moment, though, because I do have to do my show. All right, TikTok is coming live now. Excellent. TikTok, very, very good. All right, boom. Thank you, guys. Sunny, good. I like a little bit of a sun filter to give a little more light on my face. All right. Welcome, guys. Oh, yeah, you are not happy again today, I can tell. I know you're not. I know. Oh, my God. Dog is not happy again today. So, as I said, I gave her a little bit of the medicine that the vet said, is it doing some star effect? Of course it is. TikTok is doing, stop it. Oh, my God, stop it. What are you doing? TikTok is doing some weird star effect that I did not tell it to do. Oh, my God. Stop it. There we go. Oh my God, that was bizarre. TikTok was throwing, it was kind of pretty, like little stars in my room. I know it wasn't on purpose, but it actually was kind of pretty in its own little weird TikTok way. That was very funny. It wasn't the worst effect. I will say, I could try to put it on again. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah. It's like this subtle, no, that's almost a disco effect. That's a little annoying. I don't know which one it was. It's not that either. I don't know which one it was, guys. It was some kind of a subtle star effect, but this feels, maybe it was this one, but this feels more like, this is orbs. Yeah. Oh, switch the camera, yeah. Oh, shit. You see what you made me do? You made me leave these goofy things up. 1 second. Oh, Jesus, hold on. I've got to stop this from, oh, there, good. The crazy orbs have stopped. Okay, switch my camera around. Boom. Welcome, everybody. John Ravosis here. All right, we're ready to get rolling here. So it is not that busy of a news day, I would say, believe it or not. We do have a lot of news stories to talk about, but not a ton to discuss. I'm going to pet my dog here because she's a little unhappy again. We've discovered the medicine that makes my dog go a little loopy, and the vet said she thought I could try it again yesterday and today. And yesterday, I noticed during the show she was a little off. I didn't say anything to you guys, but I was like, she's a little off. And today, she's not as bad as she was last week, but she's definitely off today. So I wrote the vet a note, but we are not giving her that medicine again, that's for sure. Anyway, I know, but I can't do too much for you right now. She's also feeling very needy, so she wants me to come down and pet her and play with her, and I'm like, got a show to run. Anyway, folks, welcome. John Ravosis here. It is Tuesday, April 14th. Tomorrow is tax day here in America. If you haven't gotten your taxes in, get them in, or get an extension in soon. We're going to talk about the latest news. There's news. There's not a ton of news today, which is not always a bad thing. Obviously, we've got some Iran stuff. We've got a little bit of Ukraine stuff. Some other news, too. Yeah, and I can hold the dog up, but honestly, she absolutely hates being picked up. Pick you up for a second? I will pick you up for a second. She absolutely hates being picked up. So I will pick her up and show you. But see, she's going to make noise in about 2 seconds because she hates it. I know you hate this. You just can't handle the love. There's a little too much love involved here, isn't there? A little too much love. I know. Because you can hear she's making little unhappy noises because I'm holding her. I don't know if can you hear the little subtle like her. Yeah, she does not like being held. Yeah. An old woman, well, she makes little uncomfortable noises because she's just like, she's never liked being held. She lets me hold her, but she doesn't like it. Okay, you want to go down? Okay, go down. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, you were whining you wanted my attention. You got my attention. What do you want, dog? Adjusting the chair. Anyway, you've not seen her before, Brian? Oh my God. I don't pick her up a lot, but I do pick her up. The thing is, my dog hates being picked up. So I tend not to show her off because she hates it. And then during the show, a lot of times she lays down and stuff. She's funny. The dog loves me, but she doesn't like being picked up. Whereas at night, if we're sleeping at night, thank you, Christina. If we're sleeping at night, she's got to be like right up against me. Like she's got to be touching me when she's sleeping. But during the day, she sleeps near me. She's always near me, but she's like, do not pick me up. So, all right, you. And of course, I'm going to have to get her more water in a second, too. Anyway, guys, so yes, let's get rolling. I'm John Aravosis. This is the news. We cover the latest news. I'm in Washington, D.C., so I do have an American perspective, but not totally, not exclusively American. Pretty soon, I'll have a Greek perspective, too. I'll have my Greek citizenship maybe in the next 2 to 4 weeks. We shall hear. It's been accepted already, but I've got to get sworn in, and they've got to receive some documents before I can swear in, so... Anyway, let's get rolling. Do keep the gifts coming, guys. I appreciate your gifts. They support my work, so thank you very much for that. And with no further ado, photos of Cookie. Oh, that's cute. Oh, thank you, Paul. I'll check it out. Let's get rolling. So the U.S. is blockading now Iran. Initially, Trump had said he was going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, and I think everybody went, you're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz? Why would America shut down the Strait of Hormuz? That's what Iran is doing. And then Trump was like, oh, yeah. We're not going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to shut down Iran's traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, that's interesting because the idea is to punish Iran so that it can't make oil revenue if nobody else can make oil revenue, right? Revenue on its oil and natural gas. The issue, though, however, is that a lot of countries like China get their oil from Iran. And it's going to be interesting to see how China feels about that. So far, the U.S. says that no ships have made it through to Iran. Well, either to Iran or from Iran, right? Like leaving Iran, they send them back. Going to Iran, they send them back. They also, there's about 10,000 U.S. troops involved, over a dozen warships, and dozens of aircraft. Strange statement today from the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy today, this one was odd. U.S. Navy today put out a general message telling ships coming to the Strait of Hormuz that that they were encouraging ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz. They were not going to escort the vessels, but they were telling the vessels it was safe. And I just find that very strange. Why is it safe? Like, why should you not be worried that Iran's going to shoot you? Iran has not said it's safe. Iran has said the opposite. Iran has said if you try to, go through the strait without getting clearance by Iran, they are going to shoot you down. So I'm a little confused as to why the U.S. is telling ships it's safe, but also we're not going to escort the ships, which seems a little weird too. Anyway, it's very weird. And as Carol just said, why would anybody believe America? I don't think I would believe Donald Trump at this point, and Donald Trump is America. So when the U.S. military says you're safe, I don't believe him. The whole thing's very strange, but also, like I said, it's safe, but we're not going to escort you through. Well, again, if it's my ship, my oil, or my crew, I'm not going through that strait, that's for sure. Well, you could have a mine, but you also could have the Iranians just shooting a drone at you and blowing you up. I mean, I don't understand. I really don't understand this. Trump says Iran talks may start anew in 2 days. He lies, so, who knows what that means. He may be trying to influence the market again. Wall Street Journal says European countries are putting together a plan for a broad coalition of countries to help free up shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, including sending mine clearing and other military vessels. But the plan would only come after the war and may exclude one country in particular, the U.S. So the idea is the Europeans are looking at sending a coalition that would be clearing the mines after the war is over. So after the Iranians make clear they're not going to fire at anybody, the Europeans would come and they would go through and make sure, thank you, succeed. They would make sure that there were no mines left over. That gives you a goat to succeed, exactly. You get to pick your goat. You know the goats. Oh, you want to come in again? All right, come here. Come on in. Hey, where are you going? Hey, there you go. Come on. Hey, no, over here. There you go. Okay. There you go. There you go. My dog likes to go in and out, but it's a little more difficult for her to find the door on the way in, but now that she's having like a drug reaction, it's like, forget it. Did succeed? Oh, Halloween. Okay. Where's Halloween? Where's Halloween? Here's Halloween. Thank you, succeed. Appreciate it. Whew. One more time. Thank you for that. What else we got here? CNN says fast rising oil prices sent U.S. business costs higher in March, lifting wholesale inflation to 4%, the highest annual rate in 3 years. Oil prices, this was interesting, actually. I'm going to read you this, but this is consistent with something other oil experts have been saying. Basically, the point that has been made recently has been oil prices have been too low. Oil prices are not accurately reflecting the lack of supply in the market. It's a little weird just because, if you believe in free markets and things, oil prices should reflect the market. I mean, it's a free market, right? People buy and sell oil like they, oil futures like they want. But apparently they're wrong. And what the experts are saying is in other words, do not think, because yes, oil prices are up significantly, but we're not having a panic yet. We're not having an oil crisis yet. We're just having increased inflation, which is not good. But we're not having, oh my God, right? People in line at gas stations, we can't get gas. And what the experts are saying is, don't get fooled and think that everything is okay with oil markets and therefore we can let this crisis go on for a while with Iran. They're saying that things are actually totally screwed up in the oil markets. The prices are not correct in terms of what they're indicating, and that if this goes on much longer, we're going to have a break and the prices are going to go through the roof. We're going to run out of oil. It's going to be like panic is what they're saying. But I want to read you this. Oil prices. Today's high oil prices do not reflect the gravity of the threat to global energy markets from the Iran war and could rise much higher if the Strait of Hormuz does not reopen, says Fatih Birol, the head of the Atomic International Energy Agency. Economist reporter Gregg Carlstrom confirmed that no Iranian... Oh, this was interesting. He was talking about Trump saying he was going to, like, for example, China won't get oil from the Middle East or from the Strait of Hormuz. We don't care because we've got enough oil. Remember, Trump keeps saying, we're energy independent in oil. We don't care if Europe and China can't get their oil from the Strait of Hormuz. It won't affect America. And I kept saying, no, it's one global market for oil. If they can't get oil from there and it decreases the amount of oil, it means you've decreased the supply of oil, you've increased the demand, and prices are going to go through the roof. Well, The Economist agrees with me, which, by the way, I used to write for The Economist. Economist reporter Gregg Carlstrom confirms that no Iranian oil ever goes to if no Iranian oil ever goes to China again, China will just buy oil from elsewhere, pushing up prices for everyone else. So the idea is, if you take Iranian oil off the market and tell the Chinese you've got to go somewhere else, they're going to go, thank you, Dr. NS, they're going to go and buy the oil somewhere else. But they're going to buy the same oil that we're trying to buy, that you're trying to buy, that the Europeans are trying to buy, and it will push the price of oil up. So basically, another way of looking at it is you've just taken Iranian oil off the market. That decreases the supply. When you decrease the supply of something, the price goes up. Very simple. And at the same time, you're kind of increasing the demand as well for a smaller amount. So you might be hitting both supply and demand. Magyar. So Magyar, as you guys know, Viktor Orban lost in Hungary. Huge deal. Wonderfully huge deal. Hey, Tokyo Cheesecake. A wonderful, huge deal with Orban losing. Orban, he's still the prime minister for another couple weeks, maybe. He is pro-Russian. He's pro-Putin. He's anti-NATO. He's anti-European. It boggles my mind that he's been in power for, is it 12 or 16 or 12 years or 16 years? I forgot how many years in Hungary. I really don't understand how Hungarians put up with this. Because this guy to me is 16 years. I was going to say, I thought it was 16. This guy is 1956. This guy is 1956 to me. He comes across, I mean, I've studied the Soviets a lot. I studied Eastern Europe a lot. It's what I focused on in graduate school. This guy reeks of being a Soviet. This guy reeks of being an Eastern European dictator beholden to the Soviet Union. How the Hungarians did not get that whiff from him is beyond me. I mean, I'm glad they overthrew him. The images from Hungary were heartwarming. It looked, thank you, Cricket, it looked like quite literally 1989 when the wall came down, when the Berlin Wall came down and Europe was free and Ceausescu got overthrown and also, goodbye, Mr. and Mrs. Ceausescu left this mortal coil. Oh, thank you. Who's that? Is that Jean doing that? Thank you, Jean. Cool boxing gloves. Very cool. Thank you for that. Any case, Orban, bad guy. He loses hugely to Peter Magyar. I'm going to say, it might be Magyar. I think Magyar might be the correct way to pronounce it. You Eastern Europeans, you pronounce your names very funny. It's like Fico in Slovakia. So I think it's Magyar, I think I read today. I may be, of course, Peter, I'm just going to say Peter. I'm sure it's Peter or something, but I'll say Peter Magyar. He said today, this is a quote from him today, I know exactly what's going on in Serbia. I know the ties between Orban and Vučić, or whatever, the leader in Serbia, between Orban and Fico in Slovakia, and I know who is the godfather behind all these ties. He basically, I'm going to give the dog water in a second, he basically is accusing Orban, the Slovakian government, and the Serbian government of being subservient for Putin. Let me get the dog something real quick. 1 second, dog. 1 second. All right. Okay. Hang on, let me get you a couple little things here, all right? And we are not getting you that stuff again at all. Okay. Here. There you go. All right. But very nice to finally see somebody, especially the Serbs too, because the Serbs so need to be called out on this stuff. I mean, so need to be called out on this stuff, you know? Thank you, Luis. Appreciate that. Anyway, what else we got? Kremlin. Oh, the Kremlin today. So again, the guy running Hungary, super anti-Ukraine, super pro-Russian, horrible guy. He lost his election. The Russians said today, wonderful quote, about Orban, we were never friends. We were never friends. Orban was their puppet. For all of these years, he was their puppy. He was their plaything. He was Reek on Game of Thrones. Orban was Reek. Actually, that would make a great meme, really, to put Orban's face on Reek, right? Orban was Reek. He was the slave to the Russians. And now the Russians' response to him losing, we were never friends. It's like, oh man. I mean, you kind of have to love it though to some degree, because it's just like, you know, Hungary and NATO. Well, Hungary was in NATO because they used to be okay. I mean, this is the problem. Slovakia as well. Slovakia has been taken over by somebody who's pro-Putin, who's anti-NATO, anti-European. I mean, I really don't. Having said that, guys, look who we elected. I mean, right? I am happy to criticize the Hungarians for keeping that idiot in power, and I'm happy to criticize the Slovakians for electing that goofball, you know, Fico, but I am equally critical of Donald Trump. So I feel like I have a right to say this, right? Because I do not excuse what my country did, that's for sure. But very much like what we did with Trump, I think I certainly don't know, you know, European, Hungarian and Slovakian politics like I know American politics. So I can't say it's the same thing. But in terms of what happened, but, you know, look at our politics and how we elected a crazy person, you know? I mean, you know, Romanian, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Romania. Has Romania been a problem? Oops. Has Romania been a problem recently? Sorry, Polzo was saying Romanian. That's what I mean. Like the Americans, you know, but I look at it as just because Donald Trump is a disaster doesn't mean we don't call out other disasters because we call out Donald Trump too, right? So we're happy to, oh, hey, FYA from Romania. So happy to call out Donald Trump. So, you know, and again, once I've got my European citizenship in the next 2 to 4 weeks, then I will be able to criticize Europe or European countries because I will be a European. So I will be one step closer. So you can't say Americans don't get to weigh in. So, anyway, more news here. JD Vance. Oh my God. So Popegate has not gone away. As you guys know, a little more dog here, a little bit more. There you go. As you know, Donald Trump got into major trouble. Oh, actually, hold on. Casual Penguin, thank you, has a gift here. Peter Majar wants to put, hang on. 1 second, Peter. Wants to put it into the Constitution that Orban should never be allowed to run again. Oh, that's interesting. Now, it depends why, right? I mean, it depends why he's saying that. Obviously, you know, although I will say that Majar, Peter, the guy who won in Hungary, he said some really good stuff. They were asking him about whether Orban should be imprisoned. And he said something to the effect of, I mean, I watched the video, but he said something to the effect of, it's not my job as prime minister to decide who goes to jail, right? It's not my job. He said, we will have the courts, we have the justice ministry, we have like all these systems in place, and we have to make sure they're operating fairly, but they're the ones who investigate and decide as prime minister, and that is the appropriate answer, right? I mean, if a fair justice system finds a crime, you go to jail. The problem is Donald Trump literally ordered the FBI and ordered the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. No Democrat has done that. Ever, I think, and Republicans haven't done this since Richard Nixon in the 1970s, early 1970s. Even Republicans, nobody's done this, Democrats or Republicans. Thank you, Gene. You just don't. And of course, Trump supporters get confused because Trump is so corrupt. They get confused and go, "Oh, well, you went after Donald Trump for his never-ending crimes. That's political." Well, it's not if you're actually a criminal. I mean, the difference is if you go after somebody who's not a criminal and you go after them just because you don't like them, then you deserve to be in jail. If you go after somebody who's a criminal, I will say one thing. You know, the New York case was 50-50. I mean, we could get into it, but the New York case, I think, was 50-50. The one with Letitia James, a lot of the experts felt like it was crossing the line. And I will defer. I mean, I'm a lawyer, but I don't do, you know, Donald Trump law, right? I don't do prosecutions. That's not my background, right? And if the experts say that one went too far, then I will leave it to the experts. But we know what Donald Trump did. And by the way, I'm going to talk about January 6th in a second because there's another horrific development, speaking of Trump's embrace of crime. JD Vance. So Trump, as you know, decided to attack the Pope on Orthodox Easter. He attacked the Pope. He this whole 2-page tweet on his social media platform, but I'm talking, it was let me see if I can find it again, just because I think visually it's important to see what Trump did. These are the ugly glasses. My good glasses I think are in my bathroom. I'll have to go find them. These are my ugly glasses I wouldn't normally wear for the show, but we're friends. I can show you guys. Oh, here we go. This was Trump's tweet about the Pope. It's this long. This is page 1. This is page 2. It's insane. I'm going to read you some of this because you have to hear how crazy this is. He also did some other tweets today. The guy's out of his mind. But I mean, literally, there's something wrong, guys. He says, Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. Terrible for foreign. First of all, weak on crime? He's the Pope. He doesn't put people in prison. He doesn't control borders. He doesn't do anything. He's terrible for foreign policy. He's the Pope. Like, he's God's, vessel on earth. I just, like, it's such a weird, like, what kind of person even makes that kind of accusation, right? So, Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He talks, We can't do this without the hair. My hair is being quite good today. I don't want to ruin it, but we'll risk it. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all other Christian organizations had during COVID when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else for holding church services, even when going outside and being 10 and even 20 feet apart. Nobody knows what he's talking about. I like his brother Louis much better than I like him because Louis is all MAGA. He gets it, and Leo doesn't, exclamation point. I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacked Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the U.S., and even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers into our country. And I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide. He wasn't. To do, setting record low numbers in crime and creating the greatest stock market in history. He didn't. Leo wouldn't be in the, wait a minute. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. Leo, again, he's calling him Leo. He's calling the Pope Leo by his first name, right? I mean, first name of a Pope, first name. He wasn't on any list to be Pope. He was. And was only put there by the church because he was an American, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. So now he's saying the Pope didn't deserve the job. Everybody knew he didn't deserve the job, and he only got the job because the Vatican was afraid of Trump, and they wanted to make Trump happy, so they picked an American. Sorry, accordion hands, right? American. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. Unfortunately, Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, does not sit well with me, nor does the fact that he meets with Obama sympathizers like David Axelrod, a loser from the left, who is one of those who wanted churchgoers and clerics to be arrested. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly, and more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church. When's the last time Donald Trump went to church? When's the last time? Anybody? When's the last time we saw Donald Trump go to church? Anybody? I don't think I've ever seen a photo of Donald Trump in church. Maybe when somebody died? Wasn't he there when somebody died? No, he didn't go to Bush. He wasn't invited to Bush's funeral, right? Right? When's the last time? This is highly important. Who cares? Donald Trump cares. Donald Trump cares. Donald Trump just went on a screed against the Pope. Donald Trump went on a screed against the Pope, saying he's a bad Pope and a bad Catholic. Donald Trump cares about who goes to church and who's a good religious and who's a good Christian. Donald Trump cares. Donald Trump said he cares. So I think it's important to ask when the last time is Donald Trump went to church, because Donald Trump is saying the Pope is a bad Christian. So if Donald Trump's saying the Pope's a bad Christian, it's fair to ask, is Donald Trump a good Christian? By the way, I found the video the other day. People were sharing it. Back in 2015 or so, do you remember when Donald Trump announced he was running for president and they asked him about religion? Here we go. Okay. I have to play you this. They're asking Donald Trump, this is back 2015, 2016, and they're asking Donald Trump about his claim that his favorite book is the Bible. Okay? Listen to this. His favorite book is the Bible.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like? No,
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible, the whole Bible is an incredible, I joke very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But
are you an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy? Really, both. They're both just so good. I don't claim to be a Bible expert, but like most Christians, went to church as a kid, was forced to go to church. What do we call Sunday school? Right? Didn't really have a choice. Mom made me go to Sunday school, and we learned about the Old and the New Testament. When you are any Christian, anybody who says the Bible is their favorite book knows what I'm going to tell you, okay? I do not say that, but even I know this. When someone asks you, what do you prefer, the Old or the New Testament, okay? When somebody asks you, what do you prefer, the Old or the New Testament, they're talking about this whole philosophical thing. The Old Testament is about punishment. It's about, right, Leviticus, like thou shalt not lie down, right? Adulterers are stoned. It's all the, if you eat shellfish, you'll be going to hell. It's all, gays are bad, or all that, not gays, because gays are not mentioned, but lying down, right? The Old Testament is punishment. The New Testament is positive stuff. Again, I am not a biblical expert, so I'm not going to go more than that. That's what, fire and brimstone. Thank you, Poppy. That's what they mean when they say, are you an Old Testament or a New Testament guy? Like if somebody asked me, I would say, look, I'm not a Bible expert, but I probably would prefer the New Testament from what I know of it, because the Old Testament is a lot of punishment and threats and this kind of stuff, right? It's a lot of punishments and threats and this kind of stuff. I would much rather have, a positive thing, right? Oops. One moment. So that's what you say. What you don't say is, equally, it's just it's just such a great book. Trump thought he was being asked, like, hey, so do you like the old or the new? It's sort of like saying, oh, there's like, which episode of Buffy did you like? Or which season of Game of Thrones was your favorite? Thank you for the gift there, Christina, right? He thinks he's being asked, like, which was your favorite? He doesn't realize he's being asked a theological question about the nature of the Old Testament versus the New Testament. Right, old or new Coke, that's a perfect example. He thinks he's being asked about old Coke or new Coke. Which one did you like better? When he says, so are you an Old Testament? He goes, oh, they're both kind of equal. It's just a great book. It being a great book has nothing to do with whether you like the Old or the New Testament, and he doesn't even know enough about it to know he doesn't even understand the question, which anybody who says that the Bible is their favorite book would understand the question he was asked. The other thing is, which you got to love, and I will say this too, like, again, I'm not even a practicing Christian in many ways, really. Thank you, Squish. But I was brought up that way. And he gets asked, so, well, you said your Bible's your favorite book. What's your favorite verse? I mean, if the Bible's your favorite book, you're going to have passages you really like, because obviously it's your favorite book. Well, that's very personal. I don't want to get into that. Which Bible passage you like isn't personal at all. There is nothing personal about which Bible passage you like. Absolutely nothing. But Jed just said it's like, what's your favorite color? It kind of is. It's kind of like asking your favorite color, right? What's your favorite passage? Oh, I liked the passage about bread and fishes, or I like the passage about the prodigal son. I don't know, but it's not the Bible. I mean, and again, like, I don't even believe that I have to explain this because I am not that religious of a person, right? The Bible is not a book that's like, oh, it's a very personal thing. We don't talk about it. I mean, what? Right? The people who we don't talk about it would be like Judas might not talk about it. I mean, it's literally, the Bible literally has lessons about denying your faith and being afraid to talk about it. I mean, anyway, it just drives me nuts because he pretends, we know this. I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, of course, right? But it's just so ridiculous. What else we got here? Oh, another treat for the dog. Here you go, another treat for the dog. All right. What else we got here? Oh, so J.D. Vance. So the Pope's in trouble. Donald Trump's in trouble with the Pope. He attacked the Pope, and the Pope responded and said, I'm not afraid of Donald Trump or whatever. J.D. Vance then weighs in. J.D. Vance weighs in and says the Pope should stick to matters. He starts scolding the Pope and says the Pope should stick to matters of morality. J.D. Vance says. Couple problems here. One, as somebody else pointed out it wasn't me, somebody else on Twitter goes, war isn't a matter of morality? He goes, war? Like of all the issues that deal with morality, war isn't one of them? Like, I mean, right? Like the Pope should stick to morality. I would think war should be one of the highest issues of morality because you're going to hurt people, you're going to kill people, and there's a whole moral debate on, is it, again, just war, to use sort of the religious doctrine, but is the war just? Is it worth it? Are we accomplishing a laudable goal? Is it worth who we're going to harm to accomplish that goal? Because innocent civilians will be hurt, innocent civilians will be killed, right? I mean, it is the entire concept of war is about morality. And many people would say, obviously the Pope would probably say war is, the Pope, well, I don't know that the Pope would say war is never moral, but he would say you better be careful going to war because it raises severe moral implications, right? Well, J.D. Vance, what makes this even more fun, J.D. Vance is the person they pick to be out there scolding the Pope. J.D. Vance may be the only vice president in American history who has, only one, who has been repeatedly scolded by the Vatican. The Vatican has repeatedly scolded J.D. Vance on Twitter and elsewhere. J.D. Vance also has only been a Catholic since since 2019. He's only been a Catholic for 7 years now. Now, that's nice. That's nice. But where I'm from, I mean, I'm not even a Catholic, but where I'm from, if you just converted 7 years ago, you really don't get to sort of put yourself out there as a bigger expert on the religion than the guy who actually runs the religion, right? That doesn't really, it just doesn't really work that way. You only got one more treat, dog, so you better stretch this one out a little bit. Yeah, anyway, so J.D. Vance, but I love that. J.D. Vance telling the Pope, don't weigh in about war and peace. You should be sticking to matters of morality, unlike war and, thank you, Mrs. Toad, unlike war and peace that apparently have nothing to do with morality. Trump versus Meloni. Actually, you know, I have to tell you, I only have done my first page of notes. I thought I didn't have much news to talk. Thank you, Tarad, as well. I didn't think I had much news today, but we've actually got a decent amount of news. Trump versus Meloni. So the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, very pretty. I say that because Trump has commented on it. But Giorgia Meloni, woman, very conservative, very good on Ukraine, very, very right-wing otherwise. A lot of Italians are not thrilled with her because she's very right-wing, but she's very good on Ukraine. And Trump had a good relationship with her, and she came out and criticized him. Well, a couple different things here. One, she's kind of not been doing well in the polls and everything else in Italy, so she needed a push, and I think she kind of sister soldiered Trump, basically meaning kind of criticizing Trump in order to help her own star, because then people in Italy don't like Trump, so they see her standing up to Trump. So she gets asked about it and says, I don't know if I have the full quote. She said it was unacceptable. I don't have the full quote. She said it was unacceptable what Trump said about the Pope, that he's the leader of our church, right? And of course, it's in Italy. The Pope is a big deal in Italy, you can imagine. Well, Trump turns around and goes, she said, I'm unacceptable, she's unacceptable, which I just love this. I'm going to tell a story that only the Greeks out there will appreciate, but the rest of you will appreciate this. My nephew Ilya, when he was a little kid, he was like 3 years old, and my sister tells this story, that my sister would try to teach him Greek. And they would throw in expressions, right? And he had done something wrong. And she had scolded my nephew and said something like, you better watch it or whatever. And she threw in Greek, souleo, which means I'm telling you, right? And she's like, you better watch it, souleo. Or I'm making this up, but she said souleo. And he goes, I'm not a souleo, you're a souleo. Which again, if you're Greek, is very funny. But the point was, that's something a 3-year-old does, right? I'm not this, you're this. Trump actually said that. Thank you, Melanie. Trump actually said that in response to Meloni saying what he did was unacceptable. I'm not unacceptable. I'm quoting you exactly. She's unacceptable. I mean, it's like, it's just absolutely. So then Italian opposition party members who are the opposition to Meloni, opposed to Meloni, they weighed in and defended Meloni because they were like, no, she's right. This is our Pope. You don't get to criticize them. Yeah, I know you are, but what am I? He's a 3-year-old. I mean, he's a 3-year-old. So another story here, Swalwell. So today, two members of Congress resigned in scandal. One was Democrat Eric Swalwell. The other was Republican Tony Gonzalez. Both pretty big scandals. Swalwell, the scandal just broke really a couple days ago. Literally a couple days ago. I think Friday maybe. And he's gone. Swalwell was accused of sexually assaulting, or the R word, which TikTok may not like me to use, so I'm not going to use the four-letter R word, but sexually assaulting numerous women. Tony Gonzalez, really weird story, allegedly forced himself on a staffer, and the female staffer ended up committing suicide. Really bad story. He refused to resign. He stayed in office. Swalwell, and my suspicion here is that two things. One, either the Democratic leadership did this, or, yeah, exactly, you're not blockading the Strait of Hormuz, I'm blockading the Strait of, that's right, Peter. I think, okay, you are so funny. Come on in. All right. I think that either the Democratic or the Republican leadership said, okay, we've got Swalwell, we've got Gonzalez. Now we can get rid of both of them, because the concern would be if you get rid of one or the other. Thank you, Annie. If one quits but the other doesn't, there's such a thin, a thin majority of Republican versus Democrat in the House of Representatives is very close. Very close. So I think somebody negotiated and said, okay, if both of you leave, then we keep the same 4-point or whatever it is margin between the two parties. I just have a feeling that they both resigned today. They're gone. I have a feeling, especially Gonzalez, who was there, wasn't going to resign. I think somehow they worked out a deal between Democrats and Republicans where they were able to say, let's force both of them out. And frankly, it helps both parties at the same time because they don't have to worry about it for the elections. So Swalwell's gone. Gonzalez is gone. British LGBT activist Peter Tatchell Tatchell tweeted today that listen to this, Turkey is putting LGBT activists on trial, with prosecutors claiming same-sex couples were holding hands and kissing, and that it's obscene. Because same-sex couples were holding hands and kissing, it was obscene, and they're seeking 3 years in prison for this. See, this is the kind of stuff, now granted, Turkey is not a member of the European Union for good reason, because if Turkey joins the EU, this is the kind of bullshit you're going to get, or we're going to get, I'm going to be able to say soon, right? Because you've got Turkey that is Turkey. Turkey is becoming increasingly Islamist. It's becoming, and the concern is that it may basically go off the deep end and become, Iran in the worst case scenario. But a country that wants to call itself Europe, that is trying to throw people in prison for 3 years for kissing and holding hands in public, you're not European. If that's your position, then you're not European. Easter Sunday. So Easter Sunday, Catholic Easter, U.S. Department of Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins sent out an email titled, sent out an email to the building, to the Department of Agriculture on her own email, sends an email titled, "He has risen!" to the entire agency. In the email, the Secretary of Agriculture calls the story of Jesus Christ the greatest story ever told, the foundation of our faith, and the abiding hope of all mankind. One USDA employee called the email grotesque and said the wording made them think it was written by AI. First, we have a separation of church and state. Second of all, we are not a Christian country. People like to say that. I think bigots like to say that. We are not a Christian country. We're a country that was pretty much founded by Christians, but they specifically decided this was not going to be a Christian country. For example, most of the people who founded our country were English and German. And I got news for you. We're not an English and German country, right? We're not. They happen to be the founders. That's great. A lot of them happen to be Protestant or whatever the hell they were. That's great. That doesn't make us a Protestant country. It doesn't make us anything else. We have separation of church and state. We are a country that tends to be very religious, but in our government, we do not have official religion. And the notion that in this country, but it really is, it is, I would say, particularly offensive in America because And Europe is starting to deal with this now because Europe especially, Asia too, actually not just Asia, lots of countries around the world. America was very unique in the world. Canada might have been there too, a couple other countries, Singapore. But basically, most countries in the world were very mono-ethnic, mono-religious, right? They were monoracial. So they tended to be the same race. They tended to be the same ethnicity. They tended to be the same religion, right? Greece, we were all Greek and we were Greek Orthodox, right? Polish, Romanian, Russian, whatever. European, a lot of Europeans in general, right? Canadians, a little more mixed, right? Or very mixed. Australia, you're going to be pretty mixed too, though, right? Yeah, exactly. Australia too. Interestingly, actually, Anglo countries in that regard, right? But the majority of countries in the world are going to be very mono-ethnic, mono-racial, mono-religious, meaning the same religion. In America, that's not who we are, right? Like I'm very proud of being American. It has its days. I'm proud of American history in many ways, even though my family came here 90 years ago or 100 years ago. Like, we haven't been here for 300 years, right? 250 years. We've only been here since the 1930s. But we adopt it. It's almost like we're adopted in a way. Like most of us in this country are adopted Americans, right? Our families, thank you, Russells, our families, most of us did not found the country. So there is no ethnic or religious basis to being American. So the notion is when you have a government official that says things like idiot Hegseth, who talked about Jesus and how we should all pray to Jesus for our troops with the war. And it was like, no, first of all, the war is not about religion. Second of all, we don't pray to Jesus on behalf of our government, right? If you want prayers, I guess okay, it's a little weird, but you don't just mention Jesus because you've got Jews, you've got Muslims, you've got Hindus, you've got lots of different religions, right? And they're all equally valid. And that's what really pisses me off. To sit there and the Secretary of Agriculture doesn't send out emails on the high Jewish holidays. She doesn't send out emails for Ramadan, I'll bet you, but she sends it out for Easter. And I think Christians do not always, I think because, look, we've always been the majority in this country, up until now, so that we never appreciated what it was like. Like, even me growing up, I grew up, and even though we're a diverse country, we were very Christian. Like, when I grew up, we had the Christmas pageants in school. We certainly didn't have any Hanukkah stuff, right? Islam, forget it. Islam wasn't even discussed when I was a kid in school, right? But we had all the Christmas pageants and everything else. Thank you, Eslyn. Keep the gifts coming, guys. We had all the Christmas pageants and stuff. And now as an adult and I'm older and I think about it, I like having the Christmas pageants. It's a little weird because these are public schools. And how do you have Christmas pageants when you've got Jews and Muslims and everybody else? You're going to make the Muslim kid join in the Christmas pageant, or the Jewish kid? And, you say they can sit out. So the entire class is going to get up there and sing Christmas carols, and the poor one Jewish kid and one Muslim kid are going to stand on the side and look like jerks? We had one Jewish kid in my high school that I knew of. At least in my class in high school. 600 kids. One Jewish kid I knew of, Keith Spurgel. I always talk about Keith. I loved Keith Spurgel, back in Chicago. And and literally, Keith was the only Jewish guy I knew in high school out of 600 people in my class. Maybe there was somebody else. I never met one, okay? That's a perfect example of, you could say, well, the Jews don't have to partake. So he's going to stand on the side and look like a jerk, right? It's not like half the class is Jewish so they can go do their thing. You're talking about children. Anyway, you get it, guys. You get what I'm talking about. Sasha, please stop. All right, stop. All right, little more here. Zelenskyy. So this is interesting. Zelenskyy made a really cool announcement about the war. Listen to this. For the first time in the war, an enemy position was captured entirely by ground robotic systems and drones without any infantry. A robot entered the most dangerous zones instead of a soldier and took the positions. Basically, and I don't know that we have more details on this now, the Ukrainians used robots and drones exclusively to capture a group of Russian soldiers, Russian troops. They basically surrounded them and captured them. Honestly, I was telling Callum, it reminded me of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Again, for those who know, but the episode where they create these war drones that fly through the air, and the planet basically specializes in selling this military machinery that are drones, and it ends up killing everybody on the planet. But the idea is these things are war machines, and they track you down, and they just wait to pounce on you. Similar concept, really, right? Very interesting stuff. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Andrew Harnik has been awarded the White House Correspondents Association Award for Excellence in Presidential News Coverage by virtual journalists for this photo. This is a photo that you might recall. I want to show you this 1 second here. Get my crazy glasses here. 1 sec. 1 sec, 1 sec, 1 sec. Oops, what is this? What is this? Dog, stop. No, now the dog is feeling better, and now she's just whining because she wants food. She goes from begging, like, because she wasn't feeling well, to simply begging for food, which is what she's doing now. Hold on a second. This is the photo. This is the photo. Amazing photo, if you remember this one. So Donald Trump is in the Oval Office. Some guy, they're having some event. Some guy has some episode and collapses. Trump gets bored and starts walking back and forth. I'm going to show you guys. Look at this photo. The guy is on the floor. People are surrounding him, trying to help him. And Trump is standing there, bored to death. It's an amazing photo. I mean, look at this. And the actual video is interesting, too. The actual video is fascinating because the video, you see Trump standing there in the video. And in the video, he's kind of going... And there's the guy collapsed, possibly dying, behind him, and he's going, like, I mean, literally didn't want to get his hands dirty, annoyed, just wanted to dissociate from the entire thing. I can't even imagine this. I'm in a room and somebody, I'm sorry, and this is one of those things where I would say, this is not a badge of honor for me or any of you. Any of us, if we were in a room and somebody collapsed, right, we would run to help the person. And if a crowd, like especially a small room like that, if 4 people ran up, mind you, you're the boss. You better run up there as well. I mean, you're the boss, first of all, so it's your job, right? You make sure the secrets, or you run to get the Secret Service, or you get on the phone. Maybe you get on the phone to the White House operator and say, get an ambulance here. But you do something. Somebody collapses in a room with you. You don't go, especially as the boss, you don't go. First of all, at the very least, you would stay focused on the person. You would be looking and going, oh my God, you know, and whatever. I mean, if or you'd be saying, hey, hurry up. Where's the medic? Come on, get him. Send somebody else for it. You would be barking orders. You would not be going, the guy dying behind you and you're going, this happened a couple months ago. I forget who the guy was. This happened a couple months ago. And it's a photo. It just got an award today, a White House Correspondents Award for the photographer, Andrew Harnik. It's a super wild, but you see, I will show you again, the guy, hey, stop. The guy in the corner had collapsed and everybody's running to try to help him. They're at a meeting and Trump stood there bored to death, absolutely bored to death. And the video is no nicer because you see in the video, you see Trump going, like the guy's collapsed there, Trump goes, and he's kind of sitting here, just he looks once, looks away, kind of does this. I mean, he's bored, he's annoyed. Hey, Michael in Costa Rica. Just really, just unbelievable. What unbelievable. Obama, I don't remember Obama. Oh, Obama, because the person passed out in front of Obama, right? Isn't that what happened? The person passed out in front of Obama. They were outside at some event. Weren't there people standing in risers or something and somebody passed out? I'm pretty sure. No, and the point here is, you're not a good person. You're not a good person because you paid attention that somebody might have been dying 6 feet away from you. You're a normal person. Like, you don't get credit. because you weren't bored that somebody was apparently seemed to be dying. I don't think the person died, but looked like they were dying. Looks like somebody's dying 6 feet away from you in a meeting and you were in charge of the meeting and you turned away. You don't get credit for not turning away because normal people don't turn away. You do get negative points for turning away because you're bored. It was sick. I mean, it really was. He's just everything. So the last story is just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Remember the guy who, we talked about him the other day. There's a top official at FEMA. FEMA is a Federal Emergency Management Agency. They handle hurricanes, natural disasters, floods, tornadoes, forest fires, any huge disaster that's too big for a state to handle. FEMA comes in from the federal government to try to help because it's just too big of a disaster, right? Trump appoints one of the top guys. See, the dog is feeling better now. That's good. She wants treats, but at least she's feeling a little better. There you go. Trump appoints a top guy to FEMA who says he practices teleportation. He says he once teleported himself like Star Trek to a Waffle House. Waffle House is like a famous chain of little restaurants where you buy waffles. And that he somehow teletransported from somewhere to a Waffle House. Well, he's standing, and he's a top Trump official. He stands by this story. So the New York Times last week goes to the Waffle House and interviews their employees to see if anybody remembers this guy teleporting. It was one of the best articles I've ever read in my life. They literally called and they literally interviewed staff and said, do you remember anybody ever teleporting in here? She goes, no, I never saw that. It's the most wonderful thing, right? Well, CNN's Andrew Kaczynski, who's like one of their fact-check investigative reporters. Andrew goes and gets Trump's phone number. For some reason, Trump's cell phone number is like everybody in Washington except me has Trump's cell phone number, and they've been calling Trump. So Andrew goes and gets Trump's phone number. He works at CNN, gets Trump's phone number, and calls Trump to ask him about this guy. Listen to this. Greg Phillips, this is Andrew wrote this on Twitter. Greg Phillips, the high-ranking FEMA official who said he's teleported to a Waffle House, has a history of claiming supernatural encounters. This guy's going to be fired, by the way. A dead girlfriend once lifted his car off the road to avoid a crash. Satan once spoke to him while he walked across Spain. After collapsing inside an Indianapolis Lowe's is a big department store, he came to in a McDonald's parking lot across the street with 15,000 steps logged on his health app, a Big Mac in his lap, and little understanding of what had just happened. Phillips says of the incident, the whole space and time thing continuum it fell with me. He goes, I called Donald Trump to ask about the teleportation claim, who Trump said, it just sounds a little strange, but I know nothing about teleporting or him, but I'll find out about it right now. Either the White House or the agency put out a statement this evening saying Mr. Phillips will not be talking about teleportation anymore. Oh, the best part too, Andrew said when he told Trump, your staffer keeps claiming he's teleported to a Waffle House, Trump goes, what is teleportation? He didn't know what teleportation was. The smartest man in the world who doesn't like low IQ people had no idea what teleportation was. I love that. What's teleportation? What's teleport? Again, smartest man in the world. What are groceries exactly? So you've got to love that. So this guy is losing his job. I guarantee you the guy's losing his job. He's absolutely positive. Trump does not like to get embarrassed. This is embarrassing. He's losing his job. Yeah, no question about that. Anyway, oh my God. Well, we got another 15 minutes. This went shockingly long. I mean, I was afraid there wasn't enough news tonight. I'm very surprised. Like I said, that's good, but that was much more news than I thought it was. I wrote up the news tonight. I thought, God, I have no news to give you guys, but that was clearly much more, like I said, than I thought it was. I can adjust the light a little bit. Oop, there we go. Dog, I love you, but at least the dog is feeling better. There's a medicine for the dog that makes her loopy, and went to the vet yesterday, and the vet said, no, she should be fine. You can start her up again in the medicine. Yesterday during the show, I noticed she was being weird, but not too weird. Today, forget it. Today, she wasn't as bad as last week, but she was not good. So I wrote the vet and I said, okay, we've got a problem, which is too bad because, I picked her up earlier, Nina. I don't want to do it again because she doesn't like it. So I picked her up earlier, but I try not to do it too much. And she's finally sitting down. She's still paying attention, but she's finally sitting down in her bed, which I'm kind of glad because the medicine makes her very anxious too. So she's like in and out and in and out. Ukraine and Germany? I don't think so. What happened with Ukraine and Germany? I did look at the Ukraine news before we, the gabapentin messed with her head. It was fine until last week. She got a Librela shot last week, and now the gabapentin bothers her. I think, let me look here. I'm going to look anyway, Ukraine, Germany. I think the Librela may be giving her a little bit of, making her a little off, like dizzy or whatever, but it's not enough to affect her. But now when she gets the gabapentin, it pushes her over. Ukraine. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I did see this. Ukraine strikes drone production, military support deal with Germany. That's what you're talking about. Let me see here. Ukraine and Germany have agreed to a strategic defense partnership that will include cooperation in drone production and a boost for Kyiv's air defenses. Zelenskyy announced the deal at a news conference in Berlin. Various types of drones, missiles, software, and modern defense systems. Oh, that's good. I mean, Zelenskyy did say he is trying to, oh, I did see that, the Hungarian minister dancing. Yeah, there was at the celebration, the victory celebration, one of the Hungarian ministers was dancing, and he's really good. Like, he really could. He looks like he's in his 50s or something. He can really dance. Yeah, that was very impressive. Any case, yes, but Zelenskyy said that he's trying to reach deals now. He said in the old days, Ukraine would just sell its technology. Now he wants to basically broker deals with other countries that benefit Ukraine militarily. In other words, don't just sell all their technology, don't just sell all their weapons, but say, okay, if we're going to sell you weapons, you're going to sell us, or you're going to promise to protect us, or something. Hey, stop, please. All right, love you, but stop. Thank you. All right. At least she's feeling better, I think. No, she was getting wobbly. My dog, it was very bad again. I was like, oh, God. Anyway. What else, guys? Oh, thank you, Swan. I don't know that I've noticed you in a while. Pick your goat if you like. Either I haven't noticed you in a while or you haven't been here in a while. But I would notice Swan. Maybe I just haven't noticed you. Yeah, Bonnie, what I did was I had decreased, sorry, when Swan says which goat they want, let me know. Did Swan say a goat? No, which goat? Which goat? I decided to give her less today, and I spread it out more. Halloween? Okay, Swan gets a Halloween goat. Oops. Ah! Here, we'll come closer for the Halloween goat. One more time. There we go. Remind me, somebody asked about the draft. Remind me to talk about that. Oh, the January 6th story. Remind me, mods, both the draft and the January 6th story. Remind me of that. We were just talking first, though, about what were we talking about when the gift came in? The gabapentin, yeah. So what I did was my dog was getting wacky, like falling over, this kind of stuff, walking into things, and gabapentin. Stopped it. She was fine for several days. Went to the vet. The vet said, yeah, maybe because I gave her some trazodone, whatever, she could start again. So I gave her some gabapentin yesterday. Happens again, not as badly, but it happens again. Oh, thank you, Terry. I don't think I've seen that one before. Party pony, that's cute. Yesterday she was a little weird. Today, what I decided to do this morning, instead of giving her 33 milligrams of gabapentin 3 times a day, which I was doing, I decided to give her 25 milligrams 3 times a day. And instead of giving it to her every 4.5 hours, I decided to do every 6 hours. So I give her 25 milligrams at 8:30 in the morning, another 25 milligrams around 2:30 or 3, and an hour later, hour and a half later, she's starting to get a little weird. So I had lowered the amount. Oops, sorry, Sasha. I lowered the amount and lowered between the doses, and she still went wacky. So I'm like, oh, God. So I don't know whether whether I do 25 milligrams and nothing for the rest of the day, thank you, Kim, or what. But it's, I'm trying to, because she's got arthritis and stuff, and I'm trying to make it so that she can walk a little more easily and not be in pain, But man, but it worries me because once again, today she was loopy. She wasn't loopy this morning though. She was loopy after the second dose, She's having the 20, maybe I'll get, although it's very hard. The problem is it's very hard to cut it. Actually, I'm going to probably get some liquid. Yeah, maybe even start lower. Yeah, I'm going to have to get some liquid. I've been using a powder, and it's very hard because the powder comes in 100 milligram pills, and I'm literally using a razor blade and doing this bullshit with powder. It's horrible. I am trying to get the oral suspension where I can literally measure out 1/10 of a mil and perfect, right? And then I know exactly how much she's getting. So I may do that. Well, and maybe I'll do 12 hours apart as well. You're right about that too. Yeah. Her liver function was okay. Kidneys too. But that's an idea too. Maybe I go back to, or not even 12 hours. Maybe I go back to once in the morning and that's it. Because in the evening, I don't think she needs it. I was just thinking like early evening, like now I'd like her to have something to get her through, but maybe I don't, Or I wait and see how she's doing, Yeah, but that's not the issue isn't crushing the pill. The issue is figuring out the dosage. It's very difficult to get that small of a dosage. It's not a pill, it's a powder. It's a pill filled with powder. And I'm literally opening up a 100 milligram pill and trying to give her 20 milligram. It's impossible. Well, she doesn't need it at night. She sleeps through the night. See, that's part of the stuff. She does not have problems at night, thank God. So, well, we talked about getting the liquid. So I wrote the vet and I said, do we skip it all together? Do I get the liquid and give even less? Like, what do I do? We're going to get, the goal was to get the liquid before she started having problems with this again. But the liquid is, we're going to get a liquid. We're getting a liquid oral suspension is the goal. And then it's very easy to give a small amount because I can give, it's a 50 milligram per mil and it's titrated 10.1 mils. So I can easily give her 5 milligram increments, which is great and very easy. So I may even go back to a smaller amount, Anyway, it's very, I know you. When I say, sorry guys, we get into dog discussions at the end of the show when we're done with the politics. When I say loopy, oops, sorry guys, hitting that. I mean, she's drunk. She's confused. She's walking and she's falling. She's bumping into things. She's walking into things. She's just a lot of different, Sasha, what are you doing here? Come on, cut it out, please, cut it out. It's as if she's drunk and confused and tired. It's very bad. Yeah. That's why I stopped the show the other night, Thursday, because I looked at her and I was like, what is she, or Friday, it was Friday. No, it was Thursday, because I was like, there's something going on. And Friday, she was a disaster Friday, because this was before I realized the medicine was, hey, stop, please stop. No, now she's whining for food, Yeah, but again, it was clearly the gabapentin. And I stopped using it and, well, I know I don't use metrics, but for the medicine is doled out in metrics, and it works well because you can literally figure out how many grams and it in mils and everything else. So anyway, it was very scary. No, you can't imagine. Thursday during the show was bad. Friday I canceled the show because it happened again right before the show. And she was horrific. She was walking in my apartment and falling, like just walking and slipping and falling. And I was like getting confused and like walking into her litter box thinking it was the rest of the apartment. It was horrific. I called the vet. I was freaking out. That's why I canceled the show Friday, because this happened right before the show. And I called Ashley. I was like, I can't do the show. I'm literally panicking here. I'm going to be watching the show and looking at her. So yeah. So it was bad. But again, I didn't do the medicine all weekend. She was great and saw the vet yesterday. Everything was great. And she said, start doing the medicine again. And not great yesterday. And today was worse, but not like last week because I gave less medicine. Hey, stop. Oh, I'm sorry. You're okay. You're okay. Hey, stop, please. All right? Stop. I know. Oh, it was a stroke. Well, guys, I did not know. You want to say hi again real quick? Can we say hi again real quick? Real quick, right? Real quick. Here. Okay. Well, that was my concern because she was acting like she had a stroke or something. I thought it was over. That's why I was freaking out, right? Yeah, Mar, I'm sorry. Although, if you want to send me a link to the fake account or a picture of it at least, so that I can access it, I can report it. That would help. But no, that's what I thought. She had lost it. I was like, oh my God, she's absolutely lost it, and I had no idea. But she's panting because she's still not happy though. When they pant, it's nerves when they pant. You know, I know you. I'm sorry, but oh my God, it's just so hard. You know. Gabapentin is for dogs to manage chronic neuropathic pain. Exactly. Sedation and ataxia. Exactly. Thank you, Lois. Except in her case, she was handling it for 2.5 months. Fine. Or 3 months. Fine. That's the thing. But, James, I'm not sure what that means. You know? Okay. Thanks, Mar. So the draft story this is kind of interesting. There's some story here. Okay, look, I can't stand Donald Trump, but I tell the truth on this show, as I've told you guys. You know, I don't want to say I try not to lie because I don't lie. I try to make sure that I'm giving you the truth, whether it, you know, goes my way or not, because I want you to believe me in the future. And if I lie to you, you're going to find out because you're going to say I keep getting things wrong. Well, January 6th, let's do January 6th first. So January 6th, story today, actually, I think I've got it in my notes. I do. I've got it in my notes, and I forgot to put it, because I clip stories for you guys, like throughout the day. I read stories and I clip them on my phone, and then I go through all of the clippings on my phone and I write up my report for the evening for you guys. And I grabbed these, but I forgot to, do I have it here? I think I've got it here. I forgot to update the last couple stories for the show. Let me see if I've got it here, okay? Let me see. Oops. Oh, maybe. Let's see here. Yeah, CNN, he has been directed to stop posting about teleporting. That was the quote about the teleportation guy. I love that. Meloni, Georgia Meloni, Trump's words towards the Holy Father are unacceptable. The Pope is the head of the Catholic Church, and it is right and normal for him to call for peace and condemn all forms of war. Here we go. Kyle Cheney. He might be NBC. The Justice Department is moving to vacate the seditious... Sasha, what do you want? The Justice Department is moving to vacate the seditious conspiracy convictions of Proud Boy leaders who led hundreds of allies to the Capitol on January 6th. So Trump not only commuted their sentence, okay, he now is trying to wipe out the convictions of the ringleaders of January 6th who were convicted of sedition. They were convicted of sedition. Sedition is the violent overthrow of the government, literally. And Trump is now trying to get their criminal charges wiped out for people convicted by a jury of their peers of trying to violently overthrow the government. By the way, how's inflation doing? Oh, inflation's up to 4% now. That's how inflation's doing. Inflation just went up again. Okay? That's how inflation's doing. What is Donald Trump focusing on? More foreign wars. He just said yesterday he's thinking of going after Cuba now on the way home. He goes, yeah, when we bring the troops back, maybe we'll stop in Cuba. And he's letting domestic terrorists free. That's what he's doing while inflation's going crazy. Hey, stop. And he promised to fight inflation, and he's not. What a surprise. Did not see a documentary about the manosphere. I would be curious to see that, though. That'd be interesting to see. Dog's mouth. When dogs pant like that, it can be heat, because it is getting warmer, although my apartment should be cool enough. When dogs, thank you, Sadie. When dogs pant like that, it can be heat. It can, oh, look at, sorry for the, oh, you just missed it. The YouTube people got a quick, she just, oh, there we go. She's for TikTok, for hell, hey, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay, careful. What do you, okay, can I have my controller? Thank you. What do you, oh my God. Well, see, she scares me because she's been a little weird. I didn't want her like jumping off the edge of the couch and killing herself. It's like, but panting can often be stress in dogs. Sometimes it's heat. So she could be warm because it is getting warmer outside, but it could be pain too. It could be heat. Now, mind you, she was getting really stressed out because of the drugs I gave her a little bit ago. It clearly bothered her, so that could have been it. I'm gonna okay, I'll put you down again. Okay, but I think that could be what the stress is from too. Like it still may be affecting her a little, and she knows she's off, and it's just kind of messing with her a little bit. I think that may be it. So, all right, guys, she is a character. I know. All right, guys, it is 7:17. I'm gonna go. I mean, she's doing better. Thank God she's doing better now. All right, I know. Hi. You're fine. There you go. All right, I'm going to go and deal with Miss Pushy. Oh, the draft. Okay, real quick on the draft. Shit, I knew there was another story we were going to talk about, Lars. So real quick. The Trump administration has decided that up until now, American men, when they turn 18, or boys when they become men, whatever, turn 18, you're required to register for the draft. Now, we do not have a draft in America. I'll check Paula. We do not have a draft in America. We haven't had one since 1973 or so. We do not have mandatory military service. Military service is voluntary in America. We have a paid military. It's voluntary. So I've never done, most of us have never done military service. But when I turned 18, I had to go to the post office and register for the draft just in case. Well, Trump and his people have decided they're going to make registration for the draft like automatic, and young people will be automatically registered for the draft. And the way they've phrased it and the way they're doing it just sounds a little creepy. They're saying all they're doing is automating the process. So that way, rather than I am required by law to go register, I would just automatically be registered, right? It would be easy. So, which is okay, but because we're at war with Iran, because the war isn't going well, because Trump is now talking about going to war with Cuba, it just sounded weird that he's talking about mandating, like, you know, basically automatically registering every American male for the draft in case we go to war. It just seemed weird, right? Like the system works. Like if the system works and nothing's changed, why are you worried about registering men to go to war? Why, like, what went wrong? What's changed? Are we going to war? I mean, that's the concern people have, right? Is what changed that suddenly we have to automatically register everybody for going to war? Are we going to war? That's the concern. So I don't think, and what I said at the beginning about, I'm being honest with you guys, I don't think we're having the draft. I do think it's weird, and it doesn't look good, and it's a little weird. I could see saying it ought to be automated, because why not? But because it's happening under Donald Trump, because it's happening while we're at war, because it's happening after this is about the 10th war that Donald Trump has either threatened or gotten us into, and literally, as Nino just said, we're at war, it's creepy. It's creepy. All right. I'm going to go, guys. TikTok, make sure to follow me before I hang up. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, U.S. Do join us. Otherwise, I will say sayonara and see you guys tomorrow. Discord, see you guys first. Oh, good number of Discords. Thank you, guys. See ya. I hear you, dog. I know. Dog wants her treats. I know. I know. 1 second here. All right. Discord. All right. YouTube and Substack. TikTok, your last. YouTube and Substack. Good night.